In the gallery where dreams arise, under the dancing sun, you in disguise.
When you bring in a character from an animation from Mixamo, what you'll notice sometimes is that there's a sliding in the feet or during the animation. So this is the way I fix it. So I'll import the character and the animation, to begin with. We're going to take a piano playing animation. I say yes to everything and I don't make any changes to that. Okay, let's go to the timeline. There's two different tabs for that. This is without the edit block. Alright, so I'm going to play. Alright, now that I see you can play, I go to the animate tab. I go to anywhere in the gray area, I right click and I say create any block from studio keyframes. I keep everything as it is. I say done. And now we'll play it. Okay, if you see, the character is like moving everywhere. So I'm gonna stop this. The way I fix that, I will delete this, and I'm going to delete this character. Okay, so let's go back. I will now bring in, I'll do another import. Say accept. And now, instead of first going into making the any block right away, I do a body to hip because it moves the translation from the body to the hip, because the Mixamo and the DAZ studio, the way they do the animations is different. One is being applied, so the Mixamo one is being applied to the body, and then the one in DAZ studio, when you go to the any block, is being applied to the hips. So I run this. It says, okay, so Genesis 2, you have to make sure the Genesis 2 is selected for your character, whichever one it happens to be. I'm going to keep for the whole frame and I'll process it. Alright, so that has run. Now I come back here and I'll create any block. Again, I keep everything the same. I say done. And now if I play it, that translation is done. Okay, so now I will show you how I do the custom characters in DAZ Studio. I go through the hexagon. This is from DAZ Studio. I won't go through all of the details of how I get the 2D to 3D. I have other videos of that. I'll put the links for those below. So the first thing I do after I have saved my file, I'm now in hexagon. I go import and I take the mesh. This one I've already done a few, so I will start again for a new one. So I pick the mesh and I open it. I keep everything the same. And one thing, it's preferable to have the character in whichever pose your DAZ Studio character that you want to copy the information from is in. So I'm going to use a Gen 2. So I have it in the T pose for Gen 2. Alright, so now I want to select this character. And for the size, I know the Gen 2 is about 180 meter, 1.8 meters. So because I already did this, though, I know that I'll need to add a bit more because of all that hair at the top. So I will go 2 meters. This is in centimeters. And I'll make sure the keep ratio is selected. So I scroll the mouse the centerpiece towards me to zoom out. And then I click and hold the center button to pan. Okay, so now we also want to position the feet so that it is level with the floor, because you'll see it has to match when we get into the DAZ Studio. So that position, I know because I did it before, it's going to be 90 in this case. You might have to play around with it a bit. Okay, so we'll keep it as that. It's not perfect, but just for the video. And then now I will, you don't have to do a save as, but I do a save as first just to get in the hexagon. I'll copy this name, but I'll call this number 2. Okay, then next then I go File and I go Export, and I export it as a wavefront OBJ. And I'm going to call it A, because if I do revisions, it's easier just to remember. Right, so I keep all of this the same. I don't change anything here. And I save it. So after that's done, now I go to DAZ Studio. Oh, let's delete this mail. Okay, and now we want to import the character. So find the location where you have saved it, and I'll pick that one. So it was the 2A. I'll go open. And here, make sure you say where it came from. So it was from hexagon. And I keep everything else the same, and I say accept. Now when it has lost its color like that, what I do, I go click it, I go to the surface, and I click the material. And where it says base color, I browse and I look for the image that came with it. This is why I like to use CSM AI, because it allows me to have the image that I can pull back in for the material. Right, so now we have this. Next thing we need to do, I will unselect that, and I will look for the Genesis 2 mail. I just picked that because that's one of the base characters for the Genesis 2, and the animations, you can use them between the female and the male. Alright, so they're relatively similar in height. So what I look for when I bring these in is I look where the heights and the body positions are. So this is similar enough that I'm going to go ahead with it. And so next then is to go to Edit, go to Figure, and Transfer Utility. And then for this, I want to select the male as the source, and my target is going to be this female here. And one important thing I do, I go to the options and I uncheck parent to source. Then I click accept. Alright, so when you click on the arrow, now you'll see that this has bones. It did not before. Okay, so I can delete the Genesis 2 male. And now I will select this, and I can apply some animations to it. Okay, so the animators, I have to do the plus sign. You don't have to use it with the anti-block, but I already have some here. So for example, if I hover, okay, so let's pick belly dance. It's one of my favorites. So that's basically how I do the custom characters. Here I'm going to show how to stitch different anti-blocks together. So these are the animations that I have from Mixamo that I have turned into anti-block. So these are baseball ones. I will pick a few. Okay, so let's bring in that one. Let's have another one. Okay, let's have them idle first. Okay, so she'll be idle first and then swing. Okay, so let me play this. Okay, you see that twist where she turns her body? Okay, so we don't want that to happen, so I'm going to stop this. Then I select this anti-block, and here there's kind of 2 arrows, but if you hover over it, it will say reorient start. So just left click that and then go to off. Okay, so now let's go back again and let's play. And that's it.